from the CIA.
All right. Dear Toastmasters, honored guests, most of us probably got some education, right? Some of us went to school, some of us went to university, some of us got masters, bachelors, or even PhDs. But things that I'm going to talk today are not taught in schools, not taught in universities, and usually not taught anywhere, unless you're a member of some special secretive organization, like CIA. And I will tell you guys that these skills might help you at your workplace to see things that you might not be able to see without this special training and knowledge. At the same time, let me assure you that you will not get in trouble by using these techniques, or at least not get in trouble by knowing about these techniques. Because luckily, the documents that my speech is based off was recently declassified. But these techniques are real, and these documents were created by CIA multiple years ago to assist people who were supporting the United States and allies during the Second World War II. So I'm going to talk about a really interesting topic of organizational sabotage and how you can do it from within the organization by not being noticed, but still produce outstanding lack of results. So, we'll talk about first one. How can you do real sabotage, organizational sabotage, in the organization during your regular workday? Number one, and let me actually open my notes, because this is really important that I will actually start from the beginning. Just 1 second. Alright, topic number one. You know, there are a lot of things who are like go-getters and who cross through like boundaries, you know, and get things done immediately. So if you want to slow down organization, never allow those people to cross boundaries and take shortcuts. Always insist on doing everything through proper channels, exactly like it's in your, what's called like job manual, work instructions, something like that. Never allow people to take shortcuts. Never allow people to take less time than needed, and make sure, and you can actually argue for that, saying that, hey, this is a technique how we are doing it. We should follow the process and follow the procedure. By this, you can actually slow down getting things done tremendously. Second one is also a good one. Something that I actually saw in multiple organizations by being a consultant. Always refer all matters to committees and make sure that in those committees you have at minimum as 5 people and hopefully 10. And always make sure that they all have to agree on a decision. 10 people will never agree on a good decision. Always will pull things in their own direction. So if you don't want decision to be made, refer it to committee and let them decide. It's awesome technique that unfortunately is very popular in the organizations, even here in the United States. Next one that I would mention is, this is actually very relevant to what we do over here. Make speeches. For example, if you're at the meeting and you want this meeting to drag long and no decision being made, they make really long speeches about some subject that's kind of relevant to the meeting, but distracts attention and makes people to think about something else. And if you're not good at making speeches, talk to team, join Toastmasters. He will help you to learn how to make really long speeches so that people are still interested, people still listening to you, and they don't understand how their attention is getting diverted somewhere else from the meeting topic or discussion. Alright, the ones that I've been seeing in few organizations recently. Let's pretend that we finally got together, we made a decision, right, and happily go home at 5 p.m. And everyone comes back at work at 9 a.m. and then somebody says, hey guys, I thought about this decision and we probably have to revisit it. This kills motivation immediately. This is such an awesome technique. If you want something to not go forward, ask to continuously revisit the decisions that were made. And always bring some new small piece of information that you kind of think might change the decision, but honestly is relevant. By this, you will distract attention from yourself, but nobody will be able to do anything because decision needs to be revisited, new decision needs to be made, and people will have to meet again. And then make sure to invite a lot of people to the meeting. So this is what you can do personally at your workplace. Now let's pretend that you are a manager, or you have subordinates, right? What can you do to actually sabotage their work and the organizational work? Really simple things. First, if you're a subordinate, ask for detailed instructions from your manager, and preferably ask it at 5 p.m. when the manager is leaving or at 6 p.m. So that manager will give you instructions in a really rushed order, and then you kind of try to follow them, and when the manager going to leave the next day, ask him for clarifications. Manager will kind of think that you just don't know what to do, but you clearly know what to do. You're just postponing the decision, and you're just postponing the work and dragging the work as much as you can. Let's pretend you have multiple subordinates, and you have to assign work to them. And you have work that's really important for organization and not really important for organization. So you take the work that's the most important for organization and to assign to the less skilled workers who you know will never get it done. And then you can say, hey, unfortunately Mike's doing this work and unfortunately it's taking a little bit longer. And the last technique. This is actually a good one too. For example, your subordinates come back to you and say, hey, you know what? This is the work you have assigned to me, right? This is what I've done. You review the work. If the subject of the work is really, really important, be extremely, let me take that back. Don't be extremely picky. Take a look at the work. And if you see some deficiency in there that's not visible to the naked eye, accept the work immediately. So that you know that the bad results of this work will show up somewhere later in the process, but nobody can be blamed for it. At the same time, you can also be very, very picky at every piece of work that you have to review and ask for review and ask the work to be redone, even if there is like tiny little detail that doesn't affect anything at all. Maybe a little typo on a document, maybe a little glitch in the software that nobody will notice, or maybe something else. Ask the work to be redone and ask to bring it back for review. And if you have noticed at least 2 or 3 different things that needs to be redone, never tell them at the same time. Make sure that the person comes back to you, and then you bring up the second topic. And when the person comes back to you again, bring the third topic. These actual techniques that were suggested to use by CIA for people who were supporting allies in Nazi Germany and who were actually working against Nazi Germany during the Second World War. How can we all use these techniques for our own good and good for organizations where we work? We can identify these behaviors either from our own side, maybe we unconsciously do these things, or maybe people who we work with do these behaviors and bring attention to those and suggest to do things differently, which are actually absolutely inverted from the ideas that I have presented to you guys. And then organizations will be way more effective and way more healthy. Thank you.